What on earth are Amazon doing? I first became aware of this yesterday with this tweet from Casey Sarah, which showed a screenshot of some transparency update from a Patreon who buys and sells Magic sealed product. Talking about how Amazon.com, yes, Amazon, they went and sold Ravnica Remastered for way below what people could buy it at distribution prices. Amazon was selling the boxes, the draft boxes of Ravnica Remastered for $135. Reportedly, stores can't buy it for less than $145. Amazon was selling the booster box for cheaper than what stores can buy it for before they sell it to you, and thus they can never ever compete with Amazon's price. And also, this is 3 months prior to the release of the set. 3 months prior, so stores haven't even made their orders yet, and Amazon are already undercutting them. It's kind of grim. Now, of course, this got the rumor mill and like conjecture just like spinning and spinning and spinning, right? And eventually, what we've come to now is that the price has been adjusted and changed, but the product listing was up for 10 to 14 days at this point, and the low-end conspiracy theorists are thinking only 700 sold, which suggests that, Magic is dying and everything. But in reality, this is Amazon, right? It could have been thousands of copies of those boxes sold at that lower price. Will they honor it? I guess we'll wait and see for that. But the problem is, Ravnica Remastered is already a little bit of a scary proposition for some stores because the product is actually very expensive and the reprint equity that they can include in it looks to be quite low. Oh, and keep in mind, by the way, this is not out until January next year, so obviously prices of singles could change and everything, but at $200 a box, yeah, the actual corrected price on Amazon right now, which I assume will be a little bit over where we're at game stores, is $215 per box. But like, what can they put in here? We're getting all border shocks. We're aware of that. They've showed us this, which in essence is kind of like eating up the reprint equity and the value that was held in original art Shocklands. They are now going down in price, and where they'll bottom out, I'm not sure, but it's going to be pretty low. When you look at original Ravnica as an example of the sets that can be drawn from for Ravnica Remastered, the only really expensive card remaining is Doubling Season and perhaps Cloudstone Curio when you remove the Shocklands from the equation. In fact, Doubling Season, Cloudstone Curio, and Dark Confidant are the only 3 cards worth more than $10 outside of the Shocks in original Ravnica. My prediction is we'll probably going to see another reprint of Doubling Season or Smothering Tithe. The reason for this being they are simply the only bits of equity they can draw upon to make this exciting from that period of Magic. Another example of this, Guild Pact from the same block. There's only 1 card in there even getting close to $10 other than the Shocks, and that's Leyline of the Void, recently reported to be a several dollar card thanks to the enchanted slot of Wilds of Eldraine. And to further stress the point, Ravnica Allegiances jumping forward several years, well, Smothering Tithe is the only card from that set that is not a Shockland and worth more than $10. Guardian Project is coming up very close, being at $10. The point I'm stressing here is that the reprint culture at the moment is good for accessibility. They really are like mining that well. Do you mine a well? They're going to that well so much they're going to struggle to return to it in future. This then leads to expensive products that they want to put out, like the remaster sets, but there's just not that much value in it, and thus people don't buy it. And thus it begins to rot on store shelves, and the stores are left holding the bag. Meanwhile, huge sellers like Amazon can eat the losses. And beyond that, having expensive product where the cards within it don't actually return the value leaves you with expensive product that will rot on shelves. We've seen this with Aftermath, we've seen this with Commander Masters, we've seen it in the past with like M25 and Iconic Masters, where big companies were just left with tons of boxes, and stores, smaller stores were left with tons of boxes because they couldn't sell it because the stuff just isn't desirable enough. There's not enough chase rarity in it because all the stuff was either shit or it was re-put into the ground already, or re-put in a cheaper set in the case of Wilds of Eldraine and the Commander Masters fiasco. And this is a thing that I'm going to talk about a bit more on the channel going forward. When I say people holding inventory, I don't mean finance bros. I mean game stores and the companies that have propped up the secondary market for the last 30 years. Shit, terrible products like Aftermath and potentially Ravnica Remastered. I'm on the fence at the moment as to whether I call it a shit product per se, but these things are going to leave the LGS holding the bag. in a sense that not necessarily even holding the product, because God knows whether they're even going to order any of this shit with these problems going forward, but they're left holding the bag. So that you have stores and companies that have been working alongside Wizards and Magic for 30 years, and now they're stuck as Wizards primarily sell through fucking Amazon and do all this sort of shit. To go back to the Amazon thing, the $200 plus price tag is probably a little bit high. They have in the past put up, I think it was Wilds of Eldraine and Aftermath had higher price tags on Amazon, leading to the community wandering and left thinking and waiting, is this the new price of Magic? Hell, the $135 price tag that we saw that started to become doing the rounds over the last week, people were wondering if this was the new price tag for remastered product, if we were going backwards in terms of Wizards lowering those ludicrous prices for sealed product. Lo and behold, they weren't. Lo and behold, the price got changed back to $200. Is this an error? Well, we don't know for certain. Wizards of the Coast haven't said anything, and neither have Amazon at present. Of course, we may get some more light on that when people start to issue refunds if they don't get the items, or if the price gets honoured. We might actually have some rep somewhere say something. The behind the scenes rumour mill is saying that it was just an error. There are people saying that they've heard that it's an error, but I'm not going to say that's true. That could just be fucking rumours. But it wouldn't be out of line with them putting product up at too high a cost. Thanks to Tape Decker for this. They point out that the Amazon pre-order for all of the Lord of the Rings decks, we get one of each, just sent out one copy of one of the Lord of the Rings decks randomly. And people had to like refund it, or in the case of the comments for this Reddit post, they got their full order, but just 2 months later. And then whilst I was looking at Amazon orders today, I saw a pack of, it's Prime Deal Day, right? So we've got one pack of Aftermath Epilogue Booster in the cardboard sleeve you get at Walmart or Target for £3.50. The amount of fucking packaging for a 5-card booster is insane. This isn't an Amazon specific issue, but it's just funny to see it going through Amazon. A company that doesn't give a shit, doesn't give a flying piece of piss about the actual environmental issues around this ridiculous packaging. I'm not going to get on too high of a horse here. I do understand that trading cards aren't exactly great for the environment with the amount of waste they make, but in some way Wizards should be aware of that and work towards not producing fucking singular boosters in these card fucking sleeves. And before you tell me in the comment section, I know these already exist. I've seen them. I've got one in my cupboard because someone sent me one. I'm aware of them in the big box stores. I just think it's fucking crazy now Amazon is selling them, and I'm selling them at a loss. I assume a loss anyway. There was just error after error after error of overpricing and now underpricing and undercutting the cost of a distribution purchase of these booster boxes. How the fuck are stores meant to survive in a situation like this? Lots of people have been banging the drum for a long time that people should be keeping this in mind and buying primarily from the local game store, not buying from big conglomerates like Amazon, for example, because they aren't going to be keeping the lights on for people to play at their stores anytime soon. But this is like a whole different thing. This isn't just them like making minimal margins or no margins. This is a massive undercut due to an error, but God knows how many boxes got into the market at that price, and God knows if they're going to honour it. It's a shit show, and it's not good for the future of Magic. I think at some point, Wizards does have to stop and think, like, you know, are local game stores important to the game? And is keeping some cards actually having some sort of value to them good for both collectors, stores, and people who want to, you know, get that hit of opening an old pack and opening a valuable card? I've talked a little bit about how I'm wondering if certain arts should be reserve lists. You can get a new printing of Smothering Tithe, but the original art stays in a situation where it can no longer be reprinted. If you don't do it for arts, how about for foilings? Hell, I think that's how I would like the original reserve list to go, or should have gone a little while ago. I don't know if in the current climate you can do this, but the original framings and art should have been how they were kept. And then we got like new frames and new art versions of Shocklands and Power 9 and similar. It's a deeply complicated equation and sum to fix, because there's an entire industry underpinned by the value of trading cards. And then, in effect, that also props up trading cards, because it justifies the purchases and justifies the actions of playing and buying into the competitive environment of Magic if the cards have some sort of value, right? These two things go hand in hand. Do we actually have any collectible cards left by the time Wizards finishes reprinting everything 1,000 times in an 8-month period? And also, when you're selling it under the cost of what a game store can buy it on Amazon, where does that leave the secondary market of Magic? As always, tell me what you think in the comment section below, because I'm a sucker and I will read them. So be nice to me down there, and I'll see you in the next one. Ta-ta for now.